What's up, guys? LQ here with the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here at my YouTube channel. Know I'm a little late here, but I really wanted to talk a little bit about Dutton Ranch Season 1. Big fan of the Yellowstone franchise here. I've loved Yellowstone, the 1923, was it 1883? Marshall's, not so much, but Dutton Ranch I was really excited about because Rip and Beth were probably my two favorite characters in Yellowstone. And when I learned that they were doing spin-offs of some Yellowstone characters, Rip and Beth was the one that I was like, yeah, that has to happen. That has to happen. I didn't care so much about the other ones. I wanted to see Rip and Beth. I wanted to see their story continue. I felt like their story was the continuation of the Yellowstone storyline. I did not feel like Jesse's story and Rainwater's story, I didn't feel like theirs was the continuation. I felt like Rip and Beth was the continuation. I felt like their story progressing forward would continue the Yellowstone story progressing forward, and everything else is just spin-offs. I still feel that way after seeing this show. And after seeing Marshall's. I didn't care for Marshall's. I found Yellowstone Marshall's to be a little boring, redundant. They made some decisions I didn't care for. But Dutton Ranch, loved it. I loved it. I loved the continuation. The beginning, I was a little confused by because they decided to tell the story in a non-linear fashion. And they just kind of threw us into it. It was real easy to kind of get up to speed and figure out exactly what was going on. It wasn't confusing after an episode or two. But initially, I was a little confused because I was like, what's happening here? It wasn't linear storytelling. It was kind of storytelling through some flashbacks or flash forwards. I don't know. But either way, once the story really got going and they introduced our protagonist, Beth, Rip, Carter, they introduced a new character played by Ed Harris, Everett, the local veterinarian. And then they introduced our antagonist, Beulah. They introduced Rob Will, played by Jai Courtney. Character named Keno. So they started getting the players on the board. And once the players got on the board, and we really found out what this season was about, not only did it feel like the logical sequel to Yellowstone because it had Beth and Rip in it, it felt very much like this spiritual sequel to Yellowstone. This was a season that was all about legacy, all about carrying on the family name, all about preservation of what's been built. And because of that, probably our main antagonist, Beulah, played wonderfully by Annette Bening, she wasn't just your mustache twirling villain. There were layers, there was complexity, there was instances where maybe she was correct, and in that sense there was some similarity to Rainwater. And I always kind of considered Rainwater to be the main antagonist of Yellowstone, even though by the end of it he really wasn't. He was on their side. He was on the side of preserving the land and preserving the legacy. And I kind of see Beulah in kind of the same light, that she's not an evil person. She's not a bad person. She's trying to preserve her legacy. And that means that if our protagonists get in the way, then maybe they get in the way. The mustache twirling antagonist was Jai Courtney's character, Rob Will. Unfortunately, the decision was made to undermine a full season of him being built up as the main antagonist by getting the cartel involved. And I understand why you would get the cartel involved in this storytelling. I get that, geographic location, Texas, what they're dealing with here, drug smuggling, etc., etc. It makes sense. I thought they did a lot of build up to make Rob Will the main antagonist, only to have that be taken away once you brought in the no-name cartel members that we didn't care about anymore. I thought that was an odd choice. But overall, guys, I really, really liked this show. Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser have great chemistry together. Finn Little did a good job playing an older Carter. And it was just great seeing the continuation of the Yellowstone legacy in a way that for me actually mattered, because Marshall's for me didn't really matter that much. So season 1 I really liked. I'm really hoping that season 2 is even better. So that's my take on Dutton Ranch season 1. Loved it. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. While you're down there commenting, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and until next time, we'll see you guys later.